morning, and I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Wednesday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us. Day one of Jaguar training camp down at the Miller Electric Center. Was what it was. It was a shorter practice. Got out there about 8:40, the fellas did. They wrapped up about 10 o'clock. Obviously, it'll get longer and more ramped up as we get into training camp and into the process. But I thought for what it was, day one of training camp, Electric Center, there on the 2-minute drill, there's a thought in Miami that one of their corners is already gone for the year. Artie Burns was probably going to make the team. It's being reported that he likely has an ACL and a non-contact injury today. So anytime you're in training camp this early on, you want to get good work in, obviously, but you also want to stay healthy. And luckily, the Jaguars appeared to do that today. I also feel considerably better about the Mason Smith situation. Now, I said last night, they put him on the physically unable to perform list, the PUP or PUP list, as it's called. But in preseason, you can literally be taken off of there whenever. We didn't have clarity last night on what the situation was with Mason Smith. And Mason Smith is going to be a very important member of this Jaguar defense. I mean, you think about the interior defensive line between he, Armstead, Devon Hamilton. I mean, those are your three main guys. Mix in Jordan Jefferson, Tyler Lacey as well. But no doubt, Mason Smith is very important to what the Jaguars want to do. And we did not really know why he was placed on the PUP list last night. But I said it was July 22nd. If he's still on there August 22nd, then there might be some room for concern. Based on what Liam Cohen said today, it appears that he tweaked something, working out, getting ready for camp. It wasn't a situation where he came in overweight or failed a conditioning test or any of that sort of thing. They have not disclosed what he tweaked, but nevertheless, I feel better about it now. And I do believe in the next, 3 or 4 weeks, Mason Smith will be good to go. And keep in mind, the Jaguars don't even play week one of the regular season for another 46 days. So you have 6.5 weeks to go before the season officially kicks off. I think Mason Smith, barring any unforeseen setbacks, will be just fine for week one of the regular season. So I do feel better about that. But we're going to go over camp. We're going to go over practice today. Again, I was down there. I certainly have a lot of thoughts I want to share with you. Guest lineup tonight looks like this. Coming up in less than 15 minutes, Robert Hannesy, the brand new center for the Jacksonville Jaguars after a few years in Tampa Bay. Last year, of course, with Liam Cohen down in Tampa, signed here in Jacksonville as a free agent. Robert was a really interesting interview that I did earlier at the Miller Electric Center. I really enjoyed the conversation with him. Seems like a very engaging guy, gave thoughtful responses, which we in the media always appreciate. And I asked him flat out about losing his job last year in Tampa. Does he look at this as kind of a start over for his career? Was it Liam Cohen solely, or were there other reasons why he chose Jacksonville? What about the fact that he's going to be the third different center that Trevor Lawrence has had in the last 3 years? How is that working itself out for Trevor and him early on here in camp? And we're going to get into all that with Robert Hannesy, Jaguar center. He joins us coming up in 15 minutes or less. I talked to him earlier today down at the Miller Electric Center. Also, Jason Cole, who has covered the National Football League for a long time. He is a Pro Football Hall of Fame voter as well. Always enjoy getting Jason on because, well, he doesn't mince words all that much. He doesn't sugarcoat a whole lot. He'll pretty much tell you what he thinks and doesn't really care what you think about it, which I appreciate. So we're going to have Jason on to talk Travis Hunter, to talk Liam Cohen, Trevor Lawrence, this Jaguar offseason. Also look around the AFC South as well. So my conversation with Jason Cole, that comes up in, let's say 30 to 35 minutes or so. So we're absolutely loaded. We're with you till 10 o'clock. As always, Jacksonville, we are happy you are spending part of your Wednesday evening with us. Every night here on Hacker After Dark, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night and Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal.
It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
Training camp, practice number 1. All right, so a couple of things that stood out. And there was one thing that I've noticed in OTAs, noticed in minicamp, and I noticed basically right off the bat today when they started drills. These were special teams drills, but you've noticed it a lot on the defensive side of the ball. The Jaguars have struggled taking the ball away from opponents. Now, they've struggled in a lot of areas, right? Obviously, that's why they've lost 18 of their last 23 regular season games. But if you look at the turnover differential between the Jaguar turnovers they give to opponents and the opponent turnovers they give to Jacksonville, there's a huge gap there. The Jaguars just don't take the ball away. They don't intercept the ball. They don't force a lot of fumbles. And it's very, very clear, very early on here in the early stages of Anthony Campanile and this defensive staff, obviously Liam Cohen, James Gladstone as well, that has been a big emphasis. A big emphasis. I mean, look no further than opening day last year. That game and maybe the trajectory of the Jaguars season ended when Travis Etienne got the ball punched out at the goal line by then Dolphin safety Javon Holland. When is the last time we saw a Jaguar defensive player punch the ball out? When's the last time we saw a Jaguar defensive player get a loose ball for a scoop and score? You got to go back minimum to 2022, right? Josh Hines-Allen against Tennessee in that AFC South championship game. It's apparent to me that is an emphasis or has been an emphasis because the defensive side of the ball and during these special teams drills, you see some tactics to try to get the ball. Look, it's hard to win in the NFL, but it's even harder when you don't get any help from the other team. You have to go out there and you need to have things happen. You need to make things happen. And it's very clear to me that defensively, the Jaguars have not been doing that in years past, and that is a point of emphasis to start doing that in 2025. Joshua Cephas today, all right? Now, again, how much in the grand scheme of things will a 5th or even a 6th wide receiver matter? Probably not much, but for day one of camp, I'm going to give credit where credit's due. And I thought Joshua Cephas today had a very good day. He had 2 catches. Probably the highlight of the day was basically a diving grab he had from a ball thrown by Nick Mullins. Look, Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter, De'Ami Brown, Parker Washington. We all know the pecking order in that wide receiver room. But they are going to keep 5 or maybe even 6 wide receivers, right? And Cephas is a guy, as an undrafted free agent that made the team last year, and based on day one of training camp, he wants to make the team again this year because those were a couple of highlight reel catches, including the bomb from Nick Mullins. I thought Cephas had a pretty good day. He stood out to me. Bashal Tootin, rookie running back from Virginia Tech, the 4th rounder. I told Baloo this earlier during the 2-minute drill. A lot of former Jaguars are down there on the sideline. We interact with them. We talk to them. When you have former players going, ooh, rah, or man, what a move, what a cut. You take mental notes of that. And there was one particular play today. Now, again, there's no pads on, so take this for what it is. But Tootin's running the ball up the middle. He makes a cut to the outside, And there were a couple former Jaguars that went, wow. And when you have former NFL players saying that, you tend to make a mental note of it. So I wanted to mention that. Bashal Tutin, he's darn fast. I mean, he ran a 4.32 at the combine. He was the fastest running back in the draft class. Now, as we've talked about here on Hacker After Dark, I've had I've had 3 or 4 draft analysts on recapping the Jaguar draft, and they all like Tutin. They all are fans of Tutin. But they all point out that Tutin had issues with fumbles in Blacksburg. In fact, a couple of guys called him Mr. Fumbles. I think that might be a little harsh, but the point is, Tutin would put the ball on the ground from time to time in college. I don't care how fast you are. Doesn't matter how fast you are if you fumble the ball. But if Tutin can clean up the fumbling problem, there is potential there. No doubt about that. And I thought Tutin today had a pretty good day. Travis Hunter, primarily wide receiver, did a couple of DB drills at the beginning of practice, but I think he got darn near every rep as a wide receiver today. Now, Liam Cohen said that will change. That will mix up as we get deeper into camp. They will put him on defense sometimes, offense sometimes, and they will even put him on both sides of the ball from time to time. But today, primarily wide receiver, made a couple of nice grabs across the middle. I thought Parker Washington had a nice grab in traffic today. Brian Thomas Jr., there was one drop, I believe, and then he cleaned that up right away. That's what I like to see. Because keep in mind, Trevor Lawrence did not play in the month of December last year. In fact, he only had 8 games with Brian Thomas Jr. all told. And Travis Hunter and De'Ami Brown were not here last year. So your top 3 wide receiver targets here in 2025, Trevor Lawrence played a combined 8 games with them in their football careers. 8 with Brian Thomas Jr., 0 with Travis Hunter, 0 with De'Ami Brown. But the timing looks good. At least it did today. You know, interceptions, incompletions, drops. It's July 23rd, right? You kind of take that for what it is. But I like to look at timing. I like to look at, was the ball in the right spot? Was the receiver in the right spot? Are they running the right routes? These guys are professionals. They're going to figure out how to catch the ball. All right? Trevor is good at what he does. He's going to get the ball there. But when timing is as good as it was on July 23rd, when the Jaguars passing game does not have a lot of familiarity with one another, that to me is a good sign moving forward. And that was certainly something that I took note of. I also wanted to mention this as well. You know, I'm sure a lot of you guys can do the math on this, but on the official Jaguar roster sheet that we get from the Jaguar PR staff, 4 quarterbacks, 5 running backs. These are the amount of players at each position in camp. 14 wide receivers are in camp. 7 tight ends. 14 offensive linemen. I want to get back to that in one moment. 16 defensive linemen are in camp. 9 linebackers. How about 19 defensive backs? And, of course, the 3 specialists. We're going to hear from Robert Hannesy. I had the chance to talk with Robert Hannesy after practice earlier today at the Miller Electric Center. Let me read you the 14 offensive linemen that are here in no particular order. Luke Fortner, Dennis Daly, Fortner, former starting center in the league. Daly, a former starting tackle in the league for Tennessee. Anton Harrison, starter. Ezra Cleveland, starter. Fred Johnson started 6 games for the world champion Eagles last year. Robert Hannesy, who you're about to hear from, started 34 games for Tampa in 2022 and 2023. Walker Little, starter. Cole Van Lanen, I think he has started a few games in his career, but he's a veteran that's been around for a while. Patrick McCarry, starter. Wyatt Milam, 3rd-round pick. Javon Foster, a 4th-round pick last year. Jonah Monheim, a 7th-round pick this year. Chuma Edoga started 10 games for Dallas the last 2 years. I just named you basically every offensive lineman that's in camp. That is going to be a battle because there's a lot of names there and a lot of starts under the belts of those linemen, and you can't keep 14. You can't keep 11. You maybe can only keep 10, if not 9. So 4 of those guys minimum are going to find themselves cut in the next month and a half, and it is going to be a really interesting situation to see what happens with that Jaguar offensive line. Let's talk to one of the new additions, Robert Hannesy from Tampa. He is the projected starting center for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's talk about his relationship with Liam Cohen. Let's talk about him losing his job last year to a first-round pick in Graham Barton in Tampa. What led him to Jacksonville? And maybe more interestingly, he's going to be the 3rd center in 3 years for Trevor Lawrence. How is that dynamic working out? Is there a concern about that? We're going to get into it. Robert Hannesy, center for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He joined me earlier today at the Miller Electric Center. You'll hear that conversation next. On a Wednesday evening here in Northeast Florida, we're glad you're with us right here on Hacker After Dark.
Jaguars, Gators, Seminoles.
We're going the right way.
Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Of course.
1010XL.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line, $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement, $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Payoff via virtual prepaid code of 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
Here's your 1010XL First Coast Community Calendar.
Dreams Come True is a local wish-granting organization giving dreams and special times to local children battling life-threatening illnesses. Find out how you can help at dreamscometrue.org.
The Wounded Warrior Project provides what medicine and technology can't: community, counseling, and a second chance. Find ways to help at woundedwarriorproject.org.
If you're between ages 16 and 24, you can learn a career in construction, electrical, plumbing, or masonry with free training from the AMI Kids Florida Registered Pre-Apprenticeship Program. Call 576-7337.
There's a critical need for all blood types. Please consider donating at a local blood donation center.
If you could benefit from a grief and loss support group, call Haven Hospice at 279-1677.
If you're involved in a community event and you'd like us to help spread the word, find out how at 1010XL.com.
The calls have been pouring in.
It's the strongest phone connection on the First Coast. The Checkmate Coatings phone line covers you with expert interviews from around the country and your opinions and comments from here at home. All day, every day on 1010XL.
Yo, ET here, and I need you to beat the heat this summer with cool escapes and non-stop fun in Clay County. Tackle indoor adventures head-on. Throw axes at Live by Axe or smash your stress away at Just Smash That. Then kick back with drinks, good food, and fandom vibes at Nakama Anime Bar or Leaderboard Arcade and Bar. Whether you're blowing off steam or just looking to chill, Clay County got your perfect indoor getaway. Find your cool at exploreclay.com. That's exploreclay.com.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just a job, but an experience, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
I used to dread going to the dentist. Every visit felt like a sales pitch with constant upselling, surprise fees on my bill, and I could never get in when I needed to. But Harbor Dental Care? Totally different. They saw me the next day, gave me honest pricing up front, and even set me up with a payment plan I could actually afford. No pressure, no surprise charges, just kind people who get it. If you want to experience dentistry the way it should be, book your appointment today at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
Denny Thompson here. Look, don't get left in the dark. We're all trying to reason with hurricane season, so at least be prepared. For top-of-the-line generators in Jacksonville, I turn to Tyson. Licensed pros at Tyson deliver reliable, whole-home standby generators and provide fast repair service. They even do custom installations for local businesses, so don't wait. Ensure seamless installation and peace of mind. Call Tyson now, 904-762-1000 for a free estimate on generator services. TysonInc.com.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. As temperatures warm up around us, ants come out in droves. And when they move into your home or business, it's unnerving. Terminix knows that ants add up fast, but Terminix subtracts them faster because living with ants isn't any fun. When ants show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with an ant problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com.
I'm Stacy, and I want to tell you about my fogged up window fiasco at my house. I called up Mac at Baker Glass, and he told me all I needed was a glass replacement. The process was so easy. All within a few days, they came out, measured, called me with an estimate, cut my glass, and came out to install the new ones. Now my view outside is fog-free thanks to Mac and his crew at Baker Glass. And my neighbors think I got some fancy new windows.
I'm Mac with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is. Glad you're with us till 10 o'clock. Hacker After Dark, 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Every day, we're going to be down at training camp. Jaguar PR staff does such a great job helping us out with interviews. Robert Hannesy, brand new center for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I had the opportunity to catch up with Robert after practice earlier today at the Miller Electric Center. We went through a whole list of topics. I think you'll find the conversation interesting. I really enjoyed talking with Robert Hannesy. He's a very down-to-earth guy. Here is that conversation right now on Hacker After Dark. All right, Jaguar training camp, practice number 1 in the books. We're out here at the Miller Electric Center with Jaguar center Robert Hannesy. Robert, how'd it go out there today?
It was great. A lot of fun to be back. You know, a lot of anticipation up to this day. And, you know, once you get in it, you can kind of keep going and it becomes normal. But we all dread and look forward to this day at the same time, and now that we're in it, we're ready. I'm excited to keep rolling.
Obviously, the pads will come on next week. A veteran like yourself, what do you look to get out of the first week of training camp practice?
You really got to focus on your technique and fundamentals, because it's kind of like the OTA days where you don't have pads on, things are a little weird, your first day back in a while, and you got to make sure you're focusing on your feet, your hands, on the offensive line position, because those are the things that'll go first. When you're coming out here and playing football and not in pads, when you put the pads on, it almost becomes a little bit easier in a way. Harder in some, but easier in others, I think. So really focusing on, like, having my technique and fundamentals down, feeling good before we put those pads on.
You know, as a free agent, you had a lot of options this offseason. You chose to come to Jacksonville. People talk about the relationship with Liam Cohen last year from Tampa. Was that a big part of it, or was there something else that drew you to the Jaguars?
That was a big part of it. I think the biggest thing I looked for in the free agency was a chance to go play, to start and play and compete and continue to help whatever team that is win. And this was the best situation for that. Liam wanted me here, and I was really grateful for that. I have a great relationship with him. Getting to know everyone here has been awesome, but I wanted to go somewhere where I can play and help our team win, and that's like I have what I have here, and really excited to continue to grow with these guys. The offensive line room's awesome. The quarterback room's awesome. Our whole offense, our defense. We have great people, great staff that has been a lot of fun to work with. So I look forward to continuing that, and like I said, like helping the Jags win as many games as we can.
A couple more for Jaguar center Robert Hannesy. You had a unique position last year. You were a 2-year starter in Tampa. By all accounts, you played well. They just drafted somebody in the first round. It was what it was. Now you come here to Jacksonville. Do you almost look at this as kind of a restarting of your career in a way?
I don't know. I haven't looked at it like that because maybe other people do, but for me, it's always been like last year was tough. Like you said, it is what it is, and you gotta how you respond to things like that is what's gonna lead you into the next thing. And so when that happened and I knew I wasn't going to be starting, I was very upset, but I knew that there's two ways to do it. I can shut down and be a bad teammate, or I can be who I am and help lead and help bring Graham along and be the teammate I think I should be. And that's what happened. I think we had a great relationship, our whole offensive line and group. And honestly, I think like that's the right way to do things. That's the only way I think is appropriate to do that and act through that situation. And if I didn't, I probably wouldn't be here because no one would have seen that. I would have been like, they was like, all right, he's done. So I guess my point is that like whatever happens, however you respond to it is the most important thing. So now getting this opportunity, it's a great opportunity, but responding and continuing to be myself, be who I am, be a leader, study the game, and help bring the guys around me up and help the Jaguars win.
Robert, as we begin to wrap up, you're going to be the third different center that Trevor Lawrence has had in the last 3 years. What are the challenges with a new relationship like that, quarterback center? You guys got to be in alignment on pretty much every play.
Yeah, I think I think it's really helpful that this is an offense I've been in for a year already. I think that I can help him a lot in there, especially in the run game. So maybe take a little bit off his plate because he's going to have a lot. We started snapping together, talking, hanging out, working together in the beginning of OTAs, and I was like, hey, we should get this stuff going before we walk out on the field. So it's not the first time. And honestly, it doesn't. At this point, it just feels normal. He's the quarterback, I'm the center. We have a really good relationship. It's been fun getting to know him and getting to help him grow, and it's the same for him to me. So it's been really good.
Final question for you: 6 new offensive linemen. You're one of 4 free agents that came in, 2 in the draft. You mix in with obviously Walker and Anton and Ezra and the other guys here. Chemistry, cohesiveness. We always talk about that with the offensive line. Is that going to be a struggle with so many new guys? How do you think that's working right now in the O-line room?
I think it's working really well. I wouldn't say it's a struggle. I think it's very helpful that we're all in a similar age group, honestly. Like, people might not think about that, but it's pretty cool because it's easy. It's really easy to like mesh together. We're all in like at the same point of life outside of football. We've all played a lot of the same amounts of football. So we all have our things that we do and understand. I understand when someone says like they like to do it this way. I'm like, oh, I understand that. I can adjust to you, and vice versa. If I'm like, I need to do this part this way, they can adjust to me. So I think like it's a growing thing, and we're gonna have to keep growing and come together. But I wouldn't say it's a struggle. It's just the nature of the position. We've all had to deal with it before, one way or another. So yeah.
Leave us with this. What do you do outside of football? Tell Jaguar fans what Robert Hanesy's life is like when you're not in a football uniform.
Starting now, nothing. But I like to. A bunch of us like to go golf. Anything really outdoors. I spent some time in Phoenix, so I love to go out there, hike, go to Sedona. It's but mostly golf and just hang out on the beach, especially here now. This is a pretty cool opportunity to come here and play for an NFL team and be able to be by the beach all the time. Like that's awesome. My fiance and I love going to the beach, so that's a big thing. Anything outdoors.
Obviously, you love Florida, from Tampa Bay to Jacksonville. Yeah, Robert, welcome to Duval.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Ryan.
There you go. Chalk me up as a Robert Hannesy fan. Again, this was the first opportunity that I've really had to talk with him since he arrived, but engaging, fired up, and you know, we've heard from James Gladstone and Liam Cohen and Tony Baselli, quite frankly, all 3 of those guys, about lifting the floor of the roster. We've heard that over and over again. We've talked about and heard from them in regards to finding guys that love to play football. And when I asked Robert Hannesy what led him to Jacksonville, he said, yeah, Liam Cohen had a lot to do with it, but he wanted to play. He wants to be out there. He wants to play. You know, when they signed him, I had a couple of my Buccaneer guys on in the Tampa media on Hacker After Dark, and I was asking, what the situation was there. Robert Hannesy was a good player in 2022 and 2023. He started 34 games. He was 34 for 34. He did not miss a start in 2022 or 2023. But the way the draft board fell in 2024, Graham Barton, who Tampa Bay just loved, fell into their lap, so they drafted him, and then he replaces Robert Hannesy. Now, Hannesy started one game last season when Barton was injured, and then Hannesy became a free agent. And it's hard to find a center with 35 starts that's as young as Robert Hannesy is available on the free agent market. And obviously, Liam Cohen has up close and personal experience with Hannesy from their time in Tampa last year. And if Liam Cohen wanted to bring him here to be the starting center, that's good enough by me. So, look, we'll obviously look at him. Patrick McCarry is another one that they brought in. Fred Johnson, Chuma Edoga, and then the 2 draft picks, Wyatt Milam and Jonah Monheim. 6 new offensive linemen. That's a lot. I mean, that's a lot. I can't, man, I don't think the Jaguars have ever brought in 6 new offensive linemen in one offseason between free agency and the draft, which just goes to tell you what the thought was about the offensive line in years past here. Now, does not mean Walker Little's not a good football player. Does not mean Anton Harrison's not a good football player. Ezra Cleveland, right? I mean, there are guys that were here a year ago that are going to factor into that offensive line. But I do think that all 6 of the new guys will make the 53. I think that they're going to keep the 2 guys they drafted in Milam and Monheim. And I would bet that all 4 of those free agents, Edoga, Johnson, and certainly McCarry and Hannesy, all make the roster. And at that point, that's 6. How many do you keep? Normally you keep 10. Sometimes 9, but normally 10 on the 53. All right, so what does that mean then on the offensive line? Well, you would have to think that Anton Harrison's going to make the team, right? I'm not breaking any news there. That would be 7. You would have to think Walker Little is going to make the team. That would be 8. Ezra Cleveland, I would think he makes the team, right? Does he start? That's debatable, but I think he makes the team. That's 9. And then who does that 10 spot go to? Does it go to Luke Fortner? Does it go to Cole Van Lannon? Does it go to Javon Foster? A guy like Dennis Daly, we haven't talked a lot about. Dennis Daly started a lot of games for the Tennessee Titans. Now, Titan fans will tell you that he was terrible. Maybe some sour grapes on their part. Maybe he was. I don't know. But I know this. Dennis Daly has gotten little to no airtime on my show, and I'm willing to bet every other show here on 1010XL. And yet Dennis Daly has a lot of starting football on his resume. And he's a guy we're not even talking about. What does all that mean? Well, it means there is some serious competition on the offensive line. Serious competition. And Denmark, look, we spend so much time here talking about Trevor, and with good reason. So much time talking about Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. and De'Ami Brown. How Brenton Strange will replace Evan Ingram. How will the running game work out with ETN, Bigsby, and the 2 rookies, Tootin and LaQuinn Allen? And that's what sells the tickets, and that's what gets people excited, and that's correct. That's the fantasy football, freak in me. That doesn't mean anything if your offensive line doesn't block anybody. So it's not the sexiest, most glamorous position to talk about, but you want to wonder why ETN might have struggled last year, why Trevor missed 9 games, why guys were getting hurt left and right. Well, the offensive line wasn't very good, man. And they've tried to do something in the offseason to address that. I've said many times, I think all 6 new guys make the team. Where are you with that? The 4 free agents and the 2 rookies.
I feel like I know what the offensive line is going to look like, left to right. The only question is Milam going to get the start early at left guard,
It's him versus Ezra Cleveland, it appears.
I think Ezra has the edge right now. I still feel, a lot of questions among that and the offensive line with, what kind of scheme are they going to run up front? Are they going to be able to run the ball effectively early? I think that's going to be a lot of questions that have to be answered really soon with the schedule they have the first 6 weeks. And we're going to know that pretty quick.
Yeah, look, that schedule's brutal, man.
Yeah, the first 6 weeks, I saw something today, Cincinnati, since 2020, they've had 10 games, week 1 and week 2. They've only won 1 game in the first 2 weeks since 2020.
And they know that, and that is a talking point up there.
So you feel like, okay, you have the edge there, and everyone feels here like Carolina. It's hard to say Carolina's a must-win in week 1, but you got to win week 1. And if you start 2-0, that's a pretty good start to the season that they have the first couple weeks.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, I don't think they're going to beat Cincinnati because that's all Cincinnati fans, media have talked about. That has been the talking point the entire offseason, is getting off to a faster start in the month of September. Going on the road to play Cincinnati, that's going to be tough. Carolina is a must-win to me in week 1 because Cincinnati on the road, Houston here, at San Francisco and Kansas City on Monday Night Football, they will be the underdogs weeks 2, 3, 4, and 5. No question about it. And there's certainly a lot of time to talk about that. We got 46 days, but that offensive line is going to play a massive role in how this season goes. And I'm fascinated to see what happens between the new guys that came in this offseason and the old guard, if you will, how it all meshes together to hopefully get a cohesive. They don't have to be great. They don't have to be a phenomenal Hogs-type offensive line. Just be average. Maybe if we're getting greedy, just slightly above average. Be a top 15 offensive line. With Trevor in this passing game, I think he might have something on the offensive side of the ball. Let's talk to a man that's covered the NFL for many, many years. He's also a Pro Football Hall of Fame voter. My buddy Jason Cole. Look, Jason will shoot you straight, man. I know some Jaguar fans in the past have taken issue with some of the things that he said. I like having him on because he doesn't sugarcoat anything. If he doesn't like something, he's going to tell you he doesn't like something. So I'm going to ask him about Travis Hunter. I'm going to ask him about Liam Cohen, James Gladstone, Trevor Lawrence, this Jaguar football team. We're also going to look around the rest of the AFC South. Jason Cole next on a Wednesday night right here on Hacker After Dark.
A hot day, ice cold drinks, and smoking hot sports takes.
This is fantastic. I love it.
Get the summer feeling on Jacksonville's Summer Station, 1010XL.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
Maxed out on credit cards? Struggling with high-interest debt? You could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan Program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. That's Loan Pronto. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is an A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call now and start the conversation. Go to loanpronto.com or call 999-1508. That's loanpronto.com.
Are you ready to play this summer? At the First Coast YMCA, we're committed to being your home for health and wellness and a place for friendly competition with team sports for adults and for kids. Basketball, volleyball, pickleball, flag football, soccer. The Y has something for everyone at any age. Discover all the benefits of YMCA membership and find your fun this summer at the Y. Registration for team sports and summer camps is open now. Visit FCYMCA.org.
Right now, you may be running a little late.
or feeling stressed or overwhelmed, and you may be going a bit over the speed limit. So to help you relax, exhale. Ease up on the gas. You'll get there when you get there. Take a moment to just chill. This little break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Join me, Max Fink, as I keep a close eye on everything that happens in Gator Nation.
The Gator Report, polished up by San Jose Collision on the home of the Florida Gators, 1010XL.
Go, Gators! Jeff Prosser here for Lloyd's Heating and Air. Need a leader for commercial, retail, multifamily, or hospitality projects? Or top-tier residential service? No gimmicks, no mascots, just real expertise and hard work. As your trusted statewide mechanical partner and local family-owned team, Lloyd's is the name Northeast Florida counts on. Visit LloydsHeatingandAir.com. Lloyd's Heating and Air, keeping you comfortable in every season.
Life is just so busy this time of year. Between work, the kids' games, family vacations, I need a yard hero to free up my weekends.
You mean somebody who does mowing and trimming?
Yeah.
How about mosquito control?
Yeah.
What about irrigation and pet waste removal?
You do that too? You're my lawn hero.
Find your lawn hero at heroeslawncare.com. Heroes Lawn Care, because every lawn needs a hero.
Is your backyard ready for the big leagues? Pick it here for Surfside Pools. Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, they have the home field advantage. Family owned and operated, offering weekly pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools make your backyard dreams a reality. Are you ready to float happy? Visit surfsidepools.net or call 904-246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, your hometown MVP.
License number CPC 044080.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey, and I only like to recommend the best, which is why I'm proud to say that I chose Pella Windows and Doors for my own home. And now's a great time to upgrade your home with 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years of interest-free payments on the best windows and doors in the business. Don't wait. Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or visit their showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. For quality you can trust and savings you can't miss, that's Pella Windows and Doors.
What two vegetables are combined in making succotash?
When you file a claim with Southern Oak Insurance, we schedule one of our trusted vendors to work directly with you, which means a faster claim resolution. Find out more at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
In order to make succotash, you'll need dry corn and dry beans. Suffering succotash was made famous by Sylvester the Cat.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Hey, Hickett here. Think you got the ugliest garage floor on the First Coast? Your garage a crack-stained, hot mess? Hold on to your squeegee. Checkmate Coatings is hunting for the worst garage floor out there. And the winner gets a free garage coating makeover. Whoa! Take 10 seconds. Snap a pic of that garage eyesore. Register at checkmatecoatings.com/contests for a chance to win a free floor coating. It's easy. Just snap a quick pic and enter for a chance to win at checkmatecoatings.com/contest. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line.
Hello.
Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, your home for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we are glad you are with us. Training camp has arrived. The Jaguars were out on the field earlier at the Miller Electric Center. They will continue with practices tomorrow and Friday, also next Sunday, before getting the pads on at the beginning of next week. What an offseason it was here in Jacksonville. Let's look back on it. Let's look ahead to the 2025 season, including how the AFC South may shake itself out. Jason Cole has covered the National Football League for many years. He is a Pro Football Hall of Fame voter, and Jason's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Jason, I hope your summer's going well, man. How are you?
Oh, life is beautiful. What's going on, Ryan?
Hey, Jason, we always appreciate the time. Know it's about to get busy for everybody. And you and I spoke a couple of times around the Liam Cohen, James Gladstone stuff that happened back in January and February. And, Jason, the offseason just got crazier and crazier from there. The Jaguars, one of the most active teams in free agency. And then, of course, doing what they did to trade up to take Travis Hunter. From a mile-high view, what's your thought on what transpired here in Jacksonville this offseason?
I mean, I love the aggression, and I love Travis Hunter as a player. And if you're going to go get one of the 2 stars, do I think it was a little bit of an overpay? Yeah, but look, I'll defer to their judgment that they didn't like what else was in the draft, right? Like they didn't think that there was much of a star there. So, and I tend to have to agree with them. I think that this draft was one where it was built with solid starters after you got past the top 2 guys. And given that, you will either go one or 2 directions. If you feel like you need that star, the guy who stirs the drink, who can change things, go up and get him. But if you're looking for depth, you would rather have like 4 or 5 picks in that top 45 or 50. And from the outsider's view, I would have thought Jacksonville would want more picks. But if they believe that Travis Hunter's the guy, and it's hard to argue with that, then build around him, especially if you're really going to use him both ways a lot and try and get something out of him that way. This could be one of the truly special players that's come through. Now, I don't think he's a Champ Bailey corner, and I don't think he's a true number 1 wide receiver, but the mix of skills might be such a heavy contributor that it makes up for it. Does that make sense?
No, it does. And I want to get into Travis Hunter and your thoughts on him in a moment. But about the trade itself, you've covered a ton of general managers and head coaches over the years. What does it say about a 39-year-old in Liam Cohen and maybe more importantly, a 34-year-old in James Gladstone? I mean, talk about putting your signature stamp on a franchise right away. Their first big move was literally doing what they did to trade up to take Travis Hunter.
Right, but if you look at Gladstone, I mean, look at what they do with the Rams, right? Both these guys have deep connections with the Rams. And what did the Rams do? They went and got stars and said, follow the philosophy of stars impact your team. They change your team. They change the outcome of what you're going to do more than, a collection of other guys. So you're better off getting a star, and then you can augment those stars with guys that you pick up in free agency. It's easier to fill those roles. And I do like that philosophy, but I like that philosophy when you're when you think you're in a championship window.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that they're in a championship window yet. I still think there's a fair amount of depth. And I also think, I'm not a big Arik Armstead fan. He's okay, but he's not great. And so I don't want to pay for guys like that. Walker showed some signs of life last year, but it's been 3 years and I don't know how real all of that was. So I've still got severe questions about just how close they are. But these guys it's their job to run it out and see what they can get going. I would give them a lot of rope. I would absolutely 100% give them a lot of rope.
Jason Cole is a Pro Football Hall of Fame voter. He's with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville as the Jaguars have opened their 2025 training camp. Jason, I want to get to Trevor Lawrence in a moment, but quickly back to Travis Hunter. Again, you've covered them all from Champ Bailey to Deion Sanders. You mix in other guys as well, Brian Jordan back in the day, even a Troy Brown. Is it possible to do physically and I guess mentally? Are there enough hours in the day to do what Travis Hunter wants to do, and that's be a major contributor on both the offensive and defensive sides of the ball?
Well, I think it's hard physically to do it. It's probably a little bit easier in the NFL to do it because of the pace of games and how many plays you have versus doing it in college. guys are younger in college, and they're also not facing as much physical talent. Also, the season is longer at the NFL level, so you get worn down. I think when you're looking at a guy like this, you're looking at a more limited playbook for him to start with, and then you add in as the season goes along, because expecting him to know all the defensive assignments, and again, depending on what you do with him, I mean, this could be just go be a man cover guy, and there ain't a lot of thinking that's involved in that. Just go get your guy, right? So you can do some things to simplify it on both sides of the ball. But traditionally, you would say, okay, we're going to have a package of things that you run that's 4 to 6 plays in a given game, 4 to 6 routes, depending on what we're asking you to do. So knowing all of these assignments is not as necessary, like knowing the full playbook, having analyzed every single matchup and every single player is not as important for you in a given situation. So you can make it work. And again, this guy is so talented, so dedicated, and so I think driven to do what we're talking about that, I like taking a chance on him. That's why I'm not one of these people who said this is an awful trade. It's an interesting trade given all the other parameters that are into it. But I think the player was worth it.
The idea of Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter lining up at wide receiver has Jaguar fans, as you can imagine, Jason, salivating. And that gets me to Trevor Lawrence. I think you and I have this conversation about every July as camp opens. I mean, Jason, he's going to be 26 this year, man. He's not 22 or 23 anymore. Now, admittedly, if you go back to his last year at Clemson, this is the 4th head coach and the 4th offensive coordinator he's had in 6 football seasons. I mean, for crying out loud, he's about to have his 3rd different starting center in the last 3 seasons. He has not been dealt a great hand, but with that contract and knowing he's going to be 26 in October, it's time for Trevor Lawrence to show some stuff, correct?
Yeah, but what's your choice? Like, he's your guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you got 3 years of Trevor Lawrence before unless it crashes. But if he keeps going along the way he's going, you're going to keep playing him as your starting quarterback. And he and Cohen are going to get 3 years together to figure out if they can make it work or not. And they should get 3 years together to figure out if they can make it work or not. I know it didn't work with Doug, and Doug is. I like Doug Peterson a lot. Didn't work. That's the way it goes. You move on to the next guy. But I think there's a great player inside of Trevor Lawrence at some point in his career. I just think that he's one of these guys that, given his lack of pure athletic memory, I guess is the way to put it. This is a really particular issue that he suffers from. I think that he's just a guy who takes a long, long time to develop, which is strange given how good he was right from the start in college. But in college, he was surrounded by just a ridiculous amount of talent. He really was. And so that could cover for a lot of the sort of very fine skill lapses that he has. It's not lack of ability. It's not lack of trying. It's not lack of leadership or all these things that people want to talk about and bandy about. It's a very specific skill that has to do with decision making in the moment and having thought things through and having a plan going in. And it's the difference between a guy like a Peyton Manning and guys who are just like a rung below. And Trevor Lawrence may be a rung below that, despite all of his physical skill. There's no shame in that, and I think that you can still win with that guy, but you have to be incredibly patient with him.
Final moments with Jason Cole. Jason, I want to end with the AFC South as a whole. Final Jaguar thought. I'm happy the PR staff gives me one of those roster sheets. Normally, I don't need it as camp opens because I'm pretty familiar during the offseason, but good grief, man. Of the 90 guys at camp right now, I think something like 45 to 50 weren't even here in January when the season ended. I mean, the roster turnover here has been large, to say the least. Training camp's always important, Jason, but when there's this many new guys, rookies and free agents, coaching staff, etc., boy, this training camp is particularly vital for the Jaguars, is it not?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is going to be fun competition for jobs. That's how I'd look at it. You know, there's going to be a lot of guys. It's going to be bloodlust. Let's just put it that way for some jobs. And I don't, I think that, even with what you get done in training camp, it's fair to say that the bottom 10 guys, and usually it's only the bottom 3 to 5 guys on a roster, are fungible. But I'll bet that the bottom 10 guys on that roster are fungible. And they could just say, yeah, we'll catch you, put on a practice squad, bring up a practice squad guy. We'll go pick up somebody from out here. We'll make a couple of trades. I think that they're going to do everything they can to make this year as uncomfortable as humanly possible for as many guys as possible, so that they can see how those guys react. I think this is a little bit of Jimmy Johnson, early in Dallas. Jimmy Johnson, when he was in Miami, it's like, hey, jobs are up for grab, guys. Don't get comfortable. Don't put a down payment on a condo, and certainly don't do one out by the beach. This is everybody's on notice. And obviously not everybody. Trevor Lawrence is not on notice, and Walker's not necessarily on notice, and some of the other guys. But I think that's going to be the vibe of this team. They're going to just keep cycling guys through all season long.
And to that point, Christian Kirk traded, Evan Ingram released. Just goes to, again, talk about the craziness of this offseason. Jason, final question. We won't hold you to it, man. It's only late July. We'll hopefully have you back on in early to mid-September as the season gets underway. But as we sit right now with camps opening up, how do you look at the AFC South 1-4 as we enter camp?
Do I have to look at it?
It's rough, right? Now, the only thing about that is, though, with a 4-win team, if there is any division where, a turnaround could happen, well, the AFC South is kind of right there for the taking, is it not?
Yes, to answer your question, yes, it's there for the taking. Is there anything to like about Tennessee?
I mean, they seem to be excited about Cam Ward, so we'll give them that.
Yeah, but I don't, Cam Ward's so overrated as a number 1 pick. Now I said that, he'll probably go out and be the rookie of the year. But there's so many holes on that team and that roster. I just don't like it. Indianapolis, just a nondescript team. What are they? Anthony Richardson, the other guys that they have at quarterback. I feel bad for Anthony Richardson, because here's a guy who just got no training at the college level, and it has turned out, the injuries have been a problem, but even the performance has proved out what I thought, which is he didn't play enough. Who am I missing? Where's my brain?
And then Houston.
Yes, I mean, Houston's the class of the division, but their offensive line regressed so much last year. And I don't think that it's gotten appreciably better this year. I mean, I like the coaching in D'Amico Ryans. Stroud's good. I think that defensively, they made progress last year. Anderson really stepped up after the, previous year. But if they can't allow Stroud to sit a little bit more and at least occasionally get to his third read, you're asking way too much from him. So they're the best team in this division, but this could be an 8 or 9 win division. I mean, it could also be 11, because the bottom, if Houston is clearly better than everybody else and takes a step ahead, which they could win 13 games, because they could maybe go 6-0 in the division, right? and then it's a kind of a runaway and they're off by themselves. I just don't think that they're that good. They could be, but I don't think so. But I do also think the other teams are just not very good. Unless Cohen can milk something out of Trevor this year that we haven't seen out of Trevor. That everything turns in Jacksonville on Trevor Lawrence. Just like in any organization, everything turns on how good is the quarterback. And ultimately, that is as true with any organization as it is with Jacksonville.
And we'll see what happens as training camps open up. Jason Cole, a Pro Football Hall of Fame voter. Jason has also been the author of numerous books over the years. Jason, you have anything in the works right now, or has anything come out recently?
I don't have anything sports-related coming out. And I am working on another book. That's one I can't really talk about at the moment. I am working on a script about Bill Nunn, the old scout from the Pittsburgh Steelers who helped establish the Steel Curtain, and helped them win 5 titles. So that's pretty interesting. And then there are a couple other projects in the works. I'm hoping. It's probably 4 years away, but I'm hoping I can do a book on Andy Reid.
Wow.
That's my real dream. I think he's a fascinating dude.
No, that'll be great. No question about it. Jason Cole. Jason, I know you're busy. Thank you for the time. Enjoy the rest of the summer, and we'll talk soon, pal.
Absolutely. Take care. Thanks, Ryan.
This is Kyle Busch. The Candyman comes. Kyle Busch gets it done at Charlotte. He is now won everywhere.
And you're listening to 1010XL Jack Sports Radio.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Let's get the work done.
Training camp is here.
Up, quick feet.
1010XL's training camp coverage is backed by Roland Reach Plumbing and Green Acres Sporting Goods.
Let's go. Here we go. Let's go. It's live now. Let's go.
It's a battle for the playoffs as your Sharks take the field this Saturday. Kickoff at 7. Tickets start at just $15. Discover the thrill of indoor football. It's fast-paced, action-packed, and full of family fun. Try the new 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 food vouchers, and a $20 gift card. All for only $100. Get tickets at jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. 904-621-0700.
Prosser here. Ask about the Sharks 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 food vouchers, and a $20 gift card, all for only $100. It's Military Appreciation Night, presented by True Vet Solutions. All current and former military can purchase a special buy one, get one free ticket deal. Join us on the field after the game for a jersey auction and autograph session, sponsored by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectible. Tickets start at just $15. Call 904-621-0700. That's 904-621-0700.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Summertime is busy with graduation parties, summer barbecues, festivities, family gatherings. The month of July, National Carpet Cleaning Month. So Zero Res is offering $45 per room of carpet clean and 20% off air duct cleaning services as well. Schedule your appointment at ZeroResJacksonville.com or call them 287-5727 and ask for the 1010XL special. Zero Res, spelled backwards or forwards, it spells the same. Zero Res.
Zero Res.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods, a Jacksonville family business for nearly 70 years. Heck, I've been talking about them for over a decade. The Thompson family secret, Dandy's never frozen, always fresh baked bread with quality meats and cheeses, no dry crumbly subs here, only soft and tasty deliciousness. When I see that logo with the little dude with the cane on the label, it tells me I'm getting a trusted brand, a quality sandwich. So do what I do and stop in at a Daly's and make yours a dandy today.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. As temperatures warm up around us, ants come out in droves. And when they move into your home or business, it's unnerving. Terminix knows that ants add up fast, but Terminix subtracts them faster because living with ants isn't any fun. When ants show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with an ant problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com.
Hey, Googans, Hicken here, and I just want to once again give you this very simple reminder. Wear sunscreen. If you're outside a lot, bring the screen. Put some in your truck, on your boat, in your golf bag, whatever, wherever, just use it. Please. It's hot out there, and I just want you to protect yourself. I use it like it's cool because I think it is, but what's not cool, that's skin cancer. You don't want to deal with that. Go get yourself checked out. It could save your life. Go to beachesdermatology.com and schedule your appointment today. That's beachesdermatology.com.
At Cannons of Jacksonville, they know that when you're towing anything, you gotta have products you can rely on. With over 50 years of fabrication expertise, the family at Cannons can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Whether it's a heavy-duty hitch, trailer frame, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons will provide you with unmatched precision and durability. For all your towing needs, visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. You're on-road, you're off-road, now you're on the water. Greg, tell everybody what Coach and Honda is offering in the form of boats.
We've got the Honda boat, which is a great runabout fisherman. We've got the Coach boats. They're fantastic for getting out with a family. Nice lay-down beds, all with that legendary Honda motor on them.
Check them all out. They're waiting for you. You can see how you can be on the water with Honda or with Coach pontoon boats. Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic near Regency.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Into the 9 o'clock hour we go. Hacker After Dark, 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Thank you to Jason Cole. Always enjoy talking NFL football with Jason. Coming up towards the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour, do you realize we are 1 week from today away from the Florida Gators opening up fall camp in Gainesville? And in fact, we are 1 month from today, exactly 1 month from today, August the 23rd, from week 0 of the college football season. So we'll do a little Gator football talk as they open camp in 1 week. Graham Hall, 24/7 Sports, Swamp 247 down in Gainesville will join us coming up at the bottom, the bottom of the hour. Back into the National Football League in one moment. You know, Denmark, I was never a big fan of having to watch movies via streaming devices. I was a guy, I worked at a movie theater on Phillips Highway. That's actually how I got into sports radio. Long story short, if I never would have worked at the Regal Theater there on Phillips Highway, I probably never would have gotten into sports radio. But I worked there for about 18 months from January of 01 through August of 02. And then I took the job with Dempsey and those folks over at 930 23 years ago. But I was always a guy that wanted to go to the movie theater to watch movies, right? But now in the streaming world, you just get to sit in your own home and do it. And now that I somewhat understand the streaming world a little more than maybe I did a couple of years ago, I'm seeming to enjoy it a little more. And I bring that up to say this. I guess at midnight tonight, certainly by tomorrow morning on July the 24th, Happy Gilmore 2 is streaming on Netflix. And I got to tell you, I have pretty much hated every sequel that has been made of my favorite movies dating back a good decade. I thought Independence Day 2 might be the worst movie ever made. I still think it's in the conversation. Coming to America 2 left a lot to be desired with Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall. I appreciate the idea of it. The execution wasn't great. And I find myself, I don't want to say concerned because I'm not concerned, but from a movie sense, to me, Happy Gilmore, when it came out, I was 12 years old, man. If you're my age and you're mid to late 30s or early to mid 40s, I mean, Happy Gilmore was our wheelhouse. All the quotes from Happy Gilmore to this day, from Shooter McGavin, from Chubbs, from Happy himself. And the idea that they're making a sequel in some cases seems awesome, but I'm almost terrified to watch it, thinking it might be horrible and might, ruin the classic from 30 years ago. Having said all that, I bet you anything at some point tomorrow, I'm going to dedicate hopefully a 90-minute window or however long the movie is to watching Happy Gilmore 2 in hopes that it's considerably better than all these other recent sequels that have come out.
Yeah, I'm not much of a movie person at all. I watched Happy Gilmore actually not that long ago for the first time, maybe like 2 years ago.
Wow, for the first time, man.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not much of a movie person, but I'll probably get to it probably sometime this week. I'm going to Tampa for the next couple of days, but I'll be back Sunday. So Sunday, if there's nothing on, I might turn it on and just watch it, just because I feel like it's something that culturally, like, everybody's going to watch and talk about. So then I'll feel obligated to watch and talk about.
It's like Happy Gilmore, Tommy Boy. I mean, I'm not talking about classic pieces of America's cinema here, but when you consider my age, right now, if you're in your 60s or 70s or 20s, Happy Gilmore and Tommy Boy probably don't mean near as much to you as they do to guys in my age bracket. But I can't think of many people that I know that are 35 to 45, which is a large majority of my buddies, that don't absolutely love Happy Gilmore, Tommy Boy, Billy Madison, Big Lebowski. Those are kind of the cult classics. And this is the first one of those that is getting its sequel. And what I love is they brought as many of them back as they could, right? Adam Sandler and the girl that played the PR agent, and they brought back even Ben Stiller, who had a little role in the first one. He's in this one, and I love all that. I just hope the movie doesn't suck, plain and simple. I hope it's not awful. Like Independence Day 2, to me, was so terrible that it kind of ruined Independence Day. And I loved Independence Day, but the sequel was so god-awful that the first one now feels less to me because of how bad the sequel was. I just hope that Happy Gilmore doesn't do that. But there's a part of me that's excited about it. It's getting a lot of coverage, man. You can't turn on a entertainment website or an entertainment TV show and not see Adam Sandler's face right there. I mean, they are promoting the heck out of this thing, and it does air on Netflix, I guess, starting at midnight tonight. It officially comes out on July the 24th. We'll have a review, a non-spoiler review of Happy Gilmore 2 in the coming days here on Hacker After Dark. Coming up next, we're back into the National Football League. I want to talk a little AFC South. All the teams have opened up camp. Boy, the Tennessee Titans camp has gotten off to a really interesting start. Will Levis has shoulder surgery, opts for shoulder surgery, ending his season before it started. Lorenzo Carter, who is going to be on the Titans roster, decides to retire the day they report to camp. Tennessee doesn't have an edge rusher. Arden Key is by far away the Titans' best edge rusher right now. It could be a long year in Nashville. The Daniel Jones, Anthony Richardson competition has begun in Indianapolis. Houston also on the field. They appear to be the overwhelming favorite coming into the AFC South in 2025. Will it bear out that way? We'll talk a little AFC South next, right here on Hacker After Dark.
What is this place?
1010XL.
Wow, you're kidding, right? Wow.
This is awesome. Where wow happens every day.
The 2025 NFL season is just around the corner, and we can't wait for you to be back at the bank. Your Jacksonville Jaguars are starting off the preseason going head-to-head with the Pittsburgh Steelers Saturday, August 9th. Be at the bank as the Jags take the field for the first time this season and grab your tickets for a 7 p.m. kickoff by going to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We'll see you soon, Jags fans.
Bueller.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, buddy. Why so glum?
Stinky ice cubes, Jason. It's all downhill from here.
What?
The tap water in my place smells kind of funky. Funky tap water makes funky ice cubes. I meet a nice girl, invite her back to my place for a cocktail, and blow my whole romantic gesture with a mojito that smells like dog's feet.
Wait, I can totally make you way cooler.
I'm not taking your charity ice cubes, Jason. I have my pride.
Your pride is safe. Our plumbers can be at your house the day you call and install a whole home water purification system. Water tastes better, dishes come out cleaner, even your hair feels better after you shower.
Ooh, the ladies love a man with soft hair, don't they, Jason?
Life moves pretty fast. If you spend every day worried about the water in your own home, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. With the weather now hot as can be, look ahead and get that backyard ready for fall with a new open air or screened-in enclosure. Maximize the space you have and make it great with Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. They truly are the best in the business. So if you have the space and the idea, give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Tell them Prosser sent you.
Life is just so busy this time of year. Between work, the kids' games, family vacations, I need a yard hero to free up my weekends.
You mean somebody who does mowing and trimming?
Yeah.
How about mosquito control?
Yeah.
What about irrigation and pet waste removal?
You do that too? You're my lawn hero.
Find your lawn hero at heroeslawncare.com. Heroes Lawn Care, because every lawn needs a hero.
Put some gusto in your golf game with Dan, Jeff, and the PGA Pros on Brunch with the Tour. Teed up by Clearwater Irrigation and Apex Roofing and Contracting. Brunch provided by Chick-fil-A. 8:30 Tuesday morning on 1010XL.
Are you ready to reclaim your backyard? Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, Surfside Pools is the trusted name for expert pool design. Family owned and operated, they offer pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools transform your backyard into the oasis that you crave. Are you ready to float happy? Visit surfsidepools.net or call 246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, where luxury meets leisure.
License number CPC 044080.
What unlikely challenger, unknown even to hardcore golf fans, defeated Tiger Woods in the 2009 PGA?
When you file a claim with Southern Oak Insurance, we schedule one of our trusted vendors to work directly with you, which means a faster claim resolution. Find out more at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Yang Youngin, also known to Americans as Y.E. Yang, defeated Tiger Woods in the final round by 5 shots.
Southern Oak Insurance.
When storms start to crop up in the Atlantic or Gulf this time of year, having a solid plan to handle anything that sweeps through the first coast is very important. That's where American Electrical comes in. Ensure your home's safety and comfort with an American Electrical home generator. As the area's leading home generator dealer and installer, American Electrical can offer you easy installation, simple maintenance, and peace of mind. Schedule an assessment by simply calling the team at American Electrical. They'll walk you through the best generator for your home or business. Log on, american-electrical.com.
Hey, Hickett here. Think you got the ugliest garage floor on the First Coast? Your garage a crack-stained hot mess? Hold on to your squeegee. Checkmate Coatings is hunting for the worst garage floor out there. And the winner gets a free garage coating makeover. Whoa! Take 10 seconds. Snap a pic of that garage eyesore. Register at checkmatecoatings.com/contests for a chance to win a free floor coating. It's easy. Just snap a quick pic and enter for a chance to win at checkmatecoatings.com/contest. Checkmate Coatings. Your floor's Blessing. Peace.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold's recently hit an all-time high at over $3,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Yo, E.T. here, and I need you to beat the heat this summer with cool escapes and non-stop fun in Clay County. Tackle indoor adventures head on. Throw axes at Live by Axe or smash your stress away at Just Smash That. Then kick back with drinks, good food, and fandom vibes at Nakama Anime Bar or Leaderboard Arcade and Bar. Whether you're blowing off steam or just looking to chill, Clay County got your perfect indoor getaway. Find your cool at exploreclay.com. That's exploreclay.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
With it till 10 o'clock, as we are every night, Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM. Jaguars right back at it tomorrow morning, day number 2 of training camp. I'm scheduled to talk with Jaguar rookie linebacker Jack Kaiser. Looking forward to that conversation. I haven't had a chance to speak with him since he was drafted here. I've talked to a lot of the other rookies, have not talked with Jack Kaiser yet. Will tomorrow, and you will hear that conversation tomorrow evening right here on Hacker After Dark. We will go to Gainesville coming up in less than 15 minutes. Graham Hall, Swamp 247, part of the 24/7 Sports Network, is Florida. The Gators open fall camp in Gainesville 1 week from today. And as a matter of fact, the college football season begins 1 month from today, week 0 on August the 23rd. Before we get there, a couple of news and notes, tidbits from around the AFC South. I mentioned this earlier. Boy, the Titans have gotten off to a really interesting start with their training camp. Will Levis, who was going to be the backup, right? Cam Ward's the starter, but Will Levis, who was going to be the backup. So the story goes, basically did his own thing, got an opinion on his shoulder from outside the Titans organization, and decided on his own with his reps to get shoulder surgery, and he will now miss the 2025 season. Well, why would he do that? Well, obviously, Tennessee has moved on from Will Levis. That's why they draft Cam Ward. He will be a free agent next year. Obviously, wants to be as healthy as he can going into free agency, so he's getting the shoulder surgery this year in hopes that he is fully healthy in 2026. You combine that with the abrupt retirement of former Georgia Bulldog Lorenzo Carter, who was brought in free agency in Tennessee this year, was going to be either the 3rd or 4th edge pass rusher. So it's not exactly like the Titans have gotten off to a great start. And you combine that with Cam Ward talking today about their first practice at camp, asked how it went, and Cam Ward goes, it was mid. So not a lot of good things happening in Nashville with our brethren up in Tennessee, at least early on in camp. Daniel Jones, Anthony Richardson, that competition has officially started in Indianapolis. They weren't 30 minutes into camp, practice number 1, where I saw Daniel Jones was intercepted in an 11-on-11 drill, and I go, well, that figures. I still think Daniel Jones is going to win that competition, because Chris Ballard, the GM, and Shane Steichen, the head coach, they need to win, and they need to win this year. Politics be darned. And now sometimes a high draft pick will get the benefit of the doubt like Anthony Richardson, but not when your GM and your coach are on the hot seat, and they need to win now. They're going to put the quarterback that gives them the best chance to win this season. I think that will probably be Daniel Jones, and I think he will ultimately get that job. And then finally to Houston, look, they're the overwhelming favorite based on everybody I've talked to. Everybody thinks Houston's going to either run away with this thing or win it by default, because no one's really that high on Jacksonville, Indy, or Tennessee. I'll say the same thing about Houston I've said all year. Am I going to pick them to win the South? I probably am. I say that with a little bit of caution. I probably am. I hate what the Texans did this offseason. Their offensive line sucked last year, and I think it might even be worse now. The fact that Tank Dell is not going to play due to that knee injury. They lost Stephon Diggs. I mean, they bring in Christian Kirk, I guess, although he hasn't finished a complete season in the last 2 years. We know all about that here in Jacksonville. They got a stud in Nico Collins, not much else at the wide receiver position. They got Dalton Schultz at tight end. All right, he's serviceable. Couple of older running backs in Joe Mixon and Nick Chubb. C.J. Stroud's good, but I do not like that offense. What I do love about Houston is the defense. Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter, Jalen Petrie, Derek Stingley. You add Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, our old buddy Azeez Al-Shire. I mean, they have some dudes on the Houston defense, and I think they're going to need those dudes. I'm much higher on the Texans' defense right now than I am on the offense. And, of course, we've spent almost all show talking about Jacksonville. And, again, practice number 2 tomorrow, and I will be down there taking it all in at the Miller Electric Center. More on the National Football League coming up, but let's shift gears to the world of college football. Billy Napier, DJ Lagway, and the Gators are on the field 1 week from today as they begin fall camp on July 30th. How are things going in Gainesville? Let's talk about it with one of our guys in Gainesville, Graham Hall of 24/7 Sports, Swamp 247. He joins us next on a Wednesday evening here in the city of Jacksonville with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Jacksonville, we're glad you're with us right here on Hacker After Dark.
Adding more flavor to your evenings.
What's that haunting aroma?
Into the night with Rick Ballou.
Will there be anything else?
Have a late night snack with Hacker.
You're going to die soon with that diet. You know that.
Evenings on Jacksonville Sports Radio 1010XL.
Got a clogged drain that just won't quit? It's time to bring in the pros. Duck Duck Rooter.
I called Duck Duck Rooter for a clogged kitchen drain. They showed up fast and had it cleared in no time. No mess, no stress.
We've seen it all. Grease clogs, hairballs, mystery goo from the deep. Whatever's blocking your pipes, we'll get it flowing again. Call 904-862-6769 now to schedule your drain cleaning service. That's 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com. When you're stuck, call the duck.
Right now, you may be running a little late, or feeling stressed, or overwhelmed, and you may be going a bit over the speed limit. So to help you relax, exhale. Ease up on the gas. You'll get there when you get there. Take a moment to just chill. This little break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
It's a battle for the playoffs as your Sharks take the field this Saturday. Kickoff at 7. Tickets start at just $15. Discover the thrill of indoor football. It's fast-paced, action-packed, and full of family fun. Try the new 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 food vouchers, and a $20 gift card. All for only $100. Get tickets at jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. 904-621-0700.
Prosser here. Ask about the Sharks 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 food vouchers, and a $20 gift card, all for only $100. It's Military Appreciation Night, presented by True Vet Solutions. All current and former military can purchase a special buy one, get one free ticket deal. Join us on the field after the game for a jersey auction and autograph session, sponsored by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectible. Tickets start at just $15. Call 904-621-0700. That's 904-621-0700.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
My son had a meniscus surgery a couple years ago. Went smooth as silk. Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. Was playing tennis in 2 weeks. This is Patrick Malarkey, and I highly recommend
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish. And he's listening to the Nimnicht Outdoor Show.
With tips and stories.
Presented by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning.
Every Saturday morning, 7 to 10.
On 1010XL.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Hey, it's Frank Frangie. Look, when it comes to glass needs around the home, there's one name I trust, Lee and Kate's. It's local, family-owned, and they've been part of our community since 1926. They've taken great care of me over the years, and I know they'll do the same for you. Visit leeandkatesglass.com.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Brackish Vodka, the spirit of the sportsman and proud partner of the Jaguars, wants to make your flight in and out of Jax a fun one. Stop by Vino Volo in the airport and enjoy 2 signature Brackish cocktails. Vino Volo has amazing food and cocktails before your flight. Brackish Vodka is the first clean craft vodka and made right here in Jacksonville, Florida. Brackish Vodka for whatever your sport is. If your sport is flying, your vodka is Brackish, proud partner of the Jaguars.
Mike Dempsey for Apex Roofing and Contracting of Jacksonville Beach. If your roof's got any damage, if it leaks, if it's just old and ugly, call my friends at Apex Roofing. But Mike, roofs are so expensive. It's true, quality roofing is not cheap, but Apex Roofing has up to 100% financing available, so you don't have to compromise quality for budget. Apex Roofing, no shortcuts, no stress, just quality work with financing available. Reach for the peak with Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jacksonville Beach. ApexRoofingFL.com.
Lucas Tree Service is a certified arborist and a local family-owned business with over 45 years of experience. They specialize in tree removal, trimming, and stump grinding for both residential and commercial properties. Get prepared for storm season and receive top-notch customer service from Lucas Tree Service, 904-241-3533. Online at lucastreeservice.com.
Frank Frangie here for Coil Fencing. Jacksonville is full of memorable sports moments. Remember Hal Sutton when he famously said, "Be the right club today"? Well, that's what Coil Fencing delivers, the right fence today. And they've been delivering the right fencing for both commercial and residential properties for nearly 100 years. If you're in the market for a new fence, call Coil & Sons today at 904-356-4821 or visit coiljacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com.
Tucker Equipment Rental in Neptune Beach. You just don't rent quality machines, you rent quality customer service. Hi, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Dave. Tucker Equipment Rental has been supplying Jacksonville with equipment and event rental for over 50 years.
From commercial and homeowner projects, we've got what you need: lifts, dirt equipment, and landscape equipment.
And don't forget about event rentals, from festivals to weddings to backyard barbecues.
Local, knowledgeable, and always ready to help.
Tucker Equipment Rentals.
You need it, we've got it. Come see us.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the Cool Down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. All eyes on Jaguar training camp beginning this week. But do you realize the Florida Gators over in Gainesville begin their fall camp next week with the year number 4 for Billy Napier, SEC Media Days in the rearview mirror? Let's talk a little Florida football with Graham Hall. 24/7 Sports, Swamp 247 is where you see his terrific coverage. And Graham is always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Graham, I trust your summer has gone well, man. How are you?
Absolutely. It kind of flew by a little bit here, but it's good to be back. It's an exciting time of year, especially for Florida fans. A lot of anticipation for the schedule.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. All right, let's recap SEC Media Days a week ago. I was watching it from afar, enjoying my last family vacation before the football craziness begins. But, Graham, it appeared that, Florida picked to finish 6th in the conference. That's certainly an improvement. And obviously, DJ Lagway was one of the big stars last week in Atlanta.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just such a charismatic, nice guy. Ideal choice to bring to SEC Media Days because, as everyone who follows Florida's program under Billy Napier knows, he's all about character and representing the program in the right way. And no better person to bring than DJ Lagway, along with Jake Slaughter and Caleb Banks, three of your absolute leaders on this team. And I think Lagway understood what he was getting into, of course. There's going to be so much discussion, not just on his highly anticipated sophomore season, but where he is from a health standpoint. And I think he fielded those questions really, really well. He made some jokes about all the concern that has been out there regarding his shoulder. Said, I don't have a prosthetic arm, which I thought was a pretty good quip. I think he's a guy who understands that there's a lot of pressure on him to not just succeed for himself and live up to these expectations, but let's be quite honest. I think a lot of the future surrounding Billy Napier heading into 2026 is going to come down to DJ Lagway's play and, of course, how healthy he can stay. And protecting him is going to be probably at the top of the pecking order for Florida when it comes to their objectives on the field. I mean, you saw how good he was last year, 6-1 as a starter. That one loss came in the game against Georgia and Jacksonville there, where he had to exit the game in the second quarter, get carted off the field. This is a guy who is still scratching the surface of how good he can be and how good he was last year. Has a lot of fans salivating to see him this year. And like I said, he fielded those questions really, really well and pretty much appeased and eased concerns regarding his shoulder injury. And Billy Napier has said time and time again now that they expect to be fully healthy. And that, I think, is the most highly anticipated thing when Florida opens fall camp here, is seeing DJ Lagway out there on the practice field for the first time in a year, really, because we didn't see him much throughout spring camp. He didn't throw. He was a modified participant. And so the last time we had practice access where he was out there was this time last year in fall camp. So that is probably the most exciting thing for Florida fans when the Gators open camp next week, is seeing DJ Lagway back out there. And then maybe, despite all the pleas and the declarations from Lagway and Napier, Florida fans can maybe breathe a sigh of relief a little bit once they see him out there and throwing in practice.
Graham Hall, 24/7 Sports, Swap 247, with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Yeah, I thought it spoke volumes to where DJ Lagway is in that locker room, a true sophomore representing his school at SEC Media Days, when you have the likes of Tyreek Sapp and Austin Barber, two maybe first-round picks next year that did not go. But Lagway, as you said, was there with Banks and Jake Slaughter. And I thought Lagway, one of the more interesting things that he said, I don't have the exact quote, but everybody's talking about the schedule, Graham, that Florida has to play LSU and Miami and Texas and Georgia, and we know all the schools, right? And Lagway basically said, well, yeah, but they have to play Florida, too. I think that might be a rallying cry for this team, maybe the lack of respect card. What are your thoughts there?
Well, Billy Napier says this, too. This is why you come to Florida, is to play in games like this. You're going to play 8 SEC games, and the SEC is arguably the most difficult conference in college football. And then you're also going to play, especially this year, your in-state rivals. You're going to play USF, Miami, and Florida State. And even if it's down year for Florida State, every single year, that's a rivalry game, and you can never really chalk that up as a win until the game is over, right? Because emotions come into play. And so this is why you come to Florida, and Florida players and coaches have reiterated that message. They're not going to come out here and make excuses for the schedule. If they were to do that, I think that'd be pretty concerning, right? If you're talking in July saying, well, look at the schedule here, look at who we all have to face, that would be quite concerning, in my opinion, if you were the a fan of the team, is if you saw someone, anyone, player, coach out there sitting here saying, oh man, we have such a tough schedule. If they were making excuses before the games even started, I would look there and be like, oh man, this is, they're not too confident. But like Lagway said, they're going to have to play the Florida Gators, and Florida is coming into the season with a lot of momentum. Of course, that 4-game win streak, but also feeling a lot more confident at how they have a chance to start the season on a better note, playing Long Island University and then USF. So this is a team that is very, very confident. If they can play the way they did in November of last year through the entirety of the 2025 season, then I do think that Florida has a right to believe that they're going to be a dark horse candidate in the SEC, a chance to be in the conversation for the college football playoff when we get into November here. And that's right where you want to be, have, your destiny in your hands, and have a chance to play for it all at the end of the season. And if the Gators can do that, it'll speak highly to the roster development and the depth that the Gators have, and protecting Lagway. You saw the drop-off from Lagway to Aiden Warner last year in those 6 quarters, and I don't mean any disrespect towards Aiden Warner, because what he did last year was noble. He was coming off an ACL tear of his own, and the Gators had already lost their starting quarterback in Graham Mertz. But there isn't someone on Florida's roster like DJ Lagway, right, where he has a chance to score, get you 6 points on any given play. He is that dynamic. And again, still scratching the surface of how good he can be. So if they can ride Lagway and take care of business, and absolutely the schedule is daunting, having to go on the road to LSU, go down there and play Miami, host Texas in a night game, go to Texas A&M, a team that I think is being pretty slept on in the SEC. I don't know why Marcel Reed is not getting more respect, because you saw how good he was last year as a true freshman. Georgia, obviously always a tough game. Tennessee near the end of the season, going to Ole Miss. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. If the Gators can overcome these teams that seem to be right ahead of them in the pecking order of the SEC, I think they're going to be sitting here in November, and we're going to be talking about Florida maybe slipping into the college football playoff. But not to get ahead of ourselves whatsoever, because still got a long way to go. Got to get through training camp healthy. Got to make those strides, and you have to start strong if you're Florida. You can't allow what happened last year to happen again. But if they do that, all the things I just mentioned, I mean, this is a team that I think has a chance to be really, really good. And if you're sleeping on them, like they said, you're going to find out if all goes according to plan.
Couple of more for Graham Hall of Swamp 247. All right, Graham, it's not the most glamorous position. It's not the sexiest position on a football field, but a lot's been made about the Gator offensive line, headlined by Austin Barber and Jake Slaughter. They got 4/5 of the starters returning from last year. You cover that team as closely as anybody. Are you a believer that this might be maybe the best offensive line in the SEC?
I think there's a really good chance of it. I think that they're going to have an argument up there with Alabama as well, LSU, and I think Georgia just pumps out future NFL players on the offensive line. I don't know how they do it every single year. Maybe it's all that blue chip recruiting they're doing up there, but I think that the Gators absolutely have an argument to say that they're the number one offensive line in not just the SEC but in the country. You look at the depth that they return. You get Najee Harris back for his second full season as a starter. Jake Slaughter was arguably one of the most impressive interior offensive linemen last year. Has a case to be the top center in the SEC, along with Parker Brailsford over there in Alabama. You look at who you got at tackle. Bryce Lovett is the guy who's the lone first-year starter for the Gators, but he got some snaps last year, played in the bowl game against Tulane as the starter at right tackle. And then obviously Austin Barber, a guy who's played at left tackle and right tackle, had a chance to leave early and go to the NFL draft and get drafted, but he comes back for a chance to have a better season than he's experienced at Florida, to be quite honest, and also solidify his chance to be a potential first-round pick, like you mentioned. So I think they have a chance to be the best offensive line in the SEC. Obviously, have to stay healthy. If you have to rely on the depth where they are with certain positions, I think kind of begs the question, what depth do they have at tackle here? How ready are guys like Caden Jones, Fletcher Westfall, Roger Kearney? If those guys are able to, provide some depth and get into the rotation and overcome any injuries that occur, because it's a physical sport and expecting a clean bill of health is, in a sense, a little bit of a pipe dream, because everyone gets injured in some extent here. It's just how much are they going to be able to play through those injuries here? So if the Gators can protect Lagway and have an effective offensive line that opens up run game, holes for the run game here, then I do think Florida is going to have a case at the end of the season to say that, hey, we were the best offensive line in all of college football.
All right, Graham, next week, I believe July 30th is the first practice for Florida over there in Gainesville. You mentioned Lagway, and that's obviously going to be the most important thing that we see very early on in camp. What are a couple of other things you're going to have your eye on pretty early when the Gators get on the field next week?
I think there's some interesting position battles. I think at cornerback, you're going to see that battle between Cormani McClain and Dijon Johnson continue to be hashed out. I've told people that at the end of spring camp, I was led to believe that Cormani McClain was the projected starter there at outside cornerback opposite of Devin Moore. But Dijon Johnson is going to have something to say about that. He had 3 starts last year, has more experience and production than McClain. So we're going to have to see how that battle shakes out. I think at linebacker also with Miles Graham and Aaron Childs and Jaden Robinson teaming up with Grayson Howard, how that shakes out, because they're replacing one of their more productive players from the last couple of years in Shamar James. And then you look at the interior of the defensive line. That's another one that I think I'm going to have my eye on, and so many other people are as well, because you have Jamari Lyons coming back after he suffered that fractured ankle last year in fall camp. You lose two guys in Cam Jackson and Desmond Watson. You lose DeAndre Robinson to the transfer portal. They're going to have to figure out that position there and who's going to be able to start at nose tackle this upcoming season. Is it going to be Lyons, or is Mekhi Barrow going to compete for that spot? Who are the reserve defensive tackles behind Caleb Banks? You have Tarvarius Brown. You added Brendan Bett from Baylor in the offseason here. That's absolutely one to watch. And then I think another interesting position battle is going to be a wide receiver. You know, they bring in J. Michael Sturdivant from UCLA, a guy who's really productive, didn't really have the quarterback play last year at UCLA to showcase how good he was going to be. I think he's a guy that if he had declared for the 2025 NFL draft, he would have heard his name called. I think he's just an ideal combination of speed and size, and I think he's going to follow in the line of transfer wide receivers that Florida has brought in who've been able to make an instant impact. And then you look at who's behind him, you know, a lot of athleticism and talent, but someone's going to have to emerge as the starter there, along with Eugene Wilson. You got Aiden Mizell coming back. Tank Hawkins coming back has made a lot of really good strides. And then a lot of the, you know, shiny new toys, aside from Sturdivant, those high school freshmen that they added back in December and in February. You look at Dallas Wilson. He was the star of Florida's spring game in April, 10 catches for 195 yards and 2 scores, set multiple spring game records. But he's still a freshman. He's still scratching the surface of how good he can be. He added Burnell Brown III as well, a legacy guy, Moise Tunkara, Nashawn Montgomery, and a couple other guys returning on the roster who are looking to make sure that they stay in the rotation. So how the wide receiver depth chart shakes out is something that I'm really interested to watch. So it's not just Lagway, it's the pieces around him, and certainly some questions on defense when it comes to some starting positions that I'm intrigued to see how they shake out here in fall camp.
Again, it's a busy time over in Gainesville. The Gators will be on the field for their first practice of fall camp beginning next week, July 30th. Graham Hall of 24/7 Sports, Swamp 247. Graham, tell the good folks over here in Jacksonville, Swamp 247 as camp gets underway next week, the coverage you guys will have.
Yeah, better recruiting content. We'll be writing about football every single day. And then when basketball gets here, which is just as highly anticipated, if not more, we'll be writing about football and basketball here pretty soon. So it's a great time to join. We're going to be running a 75% off promo starting that first week of August. So if you're not a member of our community, we'd love to have you join us for a very, very low price. And we're going to have to do this again soon. There's going to be a lot to talk about this season. It's an exciting time in Gainesville, as it always is.
Graham Hall, 24/7 Sports, Swamp 247. Graham, appreciate the time. We'll do it again soon, pal.
Absolutely. Pleasure's all mine. Y'all take care out there.
And thank you to Graham Hall, 24/7 Sports, Swamp 247, for joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark. And yeah, you know, you look at that calendar, as fired up as we all are to be out at the Miller Electric Center for Jaguar training camp. We'll certainly be back down there tomorrow. We are 1 week from today, as a matter of fact, till the Florida Gators open up camp down there in Gainesville. Obviously a huge year for DJ Lagway, Billy Napier, and the crew. So we appreciate Graham Hall of 24/7 Sports, Swamp 247, for joining us. And speaking of that, you know, SEC Media Days was last week. ACC Media Days is this week. And looking at the calendar right now, it just dawned on you, or dawned on me anyway, 1 month from today is the start of college football season. August the 23rd, there will be a couple of games, including the game over in Dublin, Ireland. So, look, NFL preseason begins a week from tomorrow and 1 month from today until we kick off the 2025 college football season. Well, that will just about do it, man. It has been a very, very busy Wednesday night edition of Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. We have a ton of people to thank. Again, Graham Hall of 24/7 Sports, Swamp 247, talking Florida Gators as they begin practice 1 week from today over in Gainesville. Thank you to Jason Cole. Jason has covered the NFL for many, many years. He is a Pro Football Hall of Fame voter. Jason's a guy I like to have on because he doesn't sugarcoat a whole lot, man. He'll let you know what he thinks, whether you want to hear it or not, and appreciate his perspective tonight, not only on the Jaguars, but on the rest of the AFC South as training camps open all over the National Football League. So thank you to Jason Cole, again, longtime NFL reporter and a Pro Football Hall of Fame voter. Also, thank you to Robert Hannesy of the Jacksonville Jaguars, the new center here in town, the free agent from Tampa Bay. Really enjoyed the conversation I had with Robert earlier today at the Miller Electric Center after practice number 1. As always, thank you to the Jaguar PR staff, Emily and Amanda and Dylan and John and all those folks down there for hooking us up with interviews. We're going to have Jack Kaiser tomorrow, as we will have one interview per day, one-on-one interview per day every day of Jaguar training camp. So Robert Hannesy kicked us off. Jack Kaiser tomorrow for practice number 2. And quickly, as far as observations from today, look, it was an hour and 20-minute practice. It was the first practice of training camp. I don't want to get too over the top about things I saw or too concerned about things that I saw. I think a couple of things that stood out. Joshua Cephas, much like he did last year, is already making plays out there. We've talked so much, certainly, about Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter and De'Ami Brown and Parker Washington. Well, don't forget Joshua Cephas. I think he will be in the mix. I thought he had a pretty good day today. Again, there was a lot of special teams work. What's obvious to me, too, is, and maybe they do this every year, I'm just taking more of a notice this year, is trying to force turnovers, the punch out. Remember, like, Travis Etienne got the ball punched out by Javon Holland last year against Miami. The Jaguars either haven't done that or have not been very good at that for the last couple of years, certainly. You can tell there's an added emphasis on the defensive side of the ball to go get the ball, to go force more turnovers. So that was something I took note of. I thought Trevor looked pretty good today. There were a few drops, which, again, it's practice number 1. It's what you would expect. But along with Joshua Cephas, I thought one of the stars was Bashal Tootin, the rookie running back from Virginia Tech. Really like what I saw out of him all spring. Also thought he looked pretty good today. Again, we'll be back down there for practice number 2 tomorrow morning at the Miller Electric Center, and I am scheduled to meet one-on-one and have a conversation with Jaguar rookie linebacker Jack Kaiser, and we will bring you that chat tomorrow night here on a Thursday night edition of Hacker After Dark. Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Dylan, great job as always. I'm the Hacker Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Wednesday evening with us right here on Hacker After Dark, on 1010XL, and on 92.5 FM. So for all of us